Wow. That was something else. Mike, I'm waiting for Larry Holmes to come in the other door. If we ever need him, he's coming, okay? This is great. You know, you call a press conference, and you just hope, and I kind of said a couple Hail Marys on the way over, I do hope people show up, but this is beyond my expectations, and I'm really very fortunate to have good friends and come and support me. First and foremost, I want to introduce some people. Obviously, Donald Hendricks, Vice President of City Council, has been introduced. I'd like to introduce Dave Howells, fine gentleman. Dave is our local magistrate. He's up for election. You know, former assistant chief in Allentown. They don't come any better than Dave. Also, I see Dr. McGuire, City Council, great addition to our City Council. I see Cece Gerlach back there, Vice President of the Allentown School Board. And let's see, any more politicians. Robert Walker, who's running for the Allentown School Board, a fine gentleman. And I see Cheryl Watts, am I correct? I met Cheryl at several functions, and Cheryl is an excellent lady, and she is also running for the Allentown School Board. And I thank you all for being here. Life is all about relationships. I want to talk a little bit today about a relationship forged between city government and the school district. But before I start my remarks, it couldn't have been better timing. I received two things in the mail this morning. And it's not a setup. They came this morning, okay? This is one. I'm an educator, been an educator for 38 years. Dear Mr. O'Connell, I recently spoke at a former student. She is a principal of a private school. Dear Mr. O'Connell, thank you for speaking to the school, middle school today. Your passion towards making the city and the world a just and better place was inspiring to the next generation of leaders. These were 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. It was a treat to bring one of my role models into my school. Thank you for years of service and your desire to be a positive influence in so many. Warmest wishes from, and I'll leave that name out. This one really touched my heart, and not that one did not. This one came this morning, this morning. And this was a lady, I had her son 25 years ago. I won't read the whole thing, just some highlight. Dear Mr. O'Connell, future mayor of Allentown, hopefully she knows something that I don't know. Hi, it gives me pleasure to tell you how happy I will be to vote for you on May 16th. You may not remember me, but I will always remember you and what you did for my son over the years. This young man came into Trexler in 1992. He is now 40 years old. He was autistic, Asperger's. He was severely autistic. No one knew what it was in 1992. We were just on the cutting edge of it. This young man was the greatest young man, one of the greatest young men I ever met. I remember he was with an autistic child, what you see is what you get. And I had an assembly one day. And what I used to do in my assemblies is, I'm Irish, and you know, when the kids come in, you got to get them under control. So I would turn around, and I would like pull my breath, and I'd get really red, and they would think I was angry, but I wasn't one bit angry. But because I was having it, and it was a little pep talk. When you're in front of middle school kids, and Dave would know this, and a lot of educators out there, when you're in front of middle school kids, but January, February, they get a little itchy. You know, they need to be brought down a little bit. So I was having my annual pep talk, okay? And I was saying, you know, and John was in the front row, big tall boy, sweetheart. I said, you know, we got good kids at Trexler, and we got bad kids at Trexler. And before he could get the last one out, he says, and we got ugly kids at Trexler. I thought, oh my God, John. I said, John, you're right. I said, but I'm not going to say that. But make a long story short, he is now 40 years old, and here's what touches you, no matter what happens in this race. Here's what touches you. Mr. O'Connell, you have given me memories I will always cherish. You always took care of my son. I know from day one you love my son, and we're always watching out for the best interest. These are the things that touch you. Now let's move on. Today we're here to talk about a relationship between city government and the Allentown School District. Before we start moving forward, we have to remove the culture of corruption. We cannot deny that. the culture of corruption is there. People think the culture of corruption started on July 2nd, 2015. It did not. It started in the spring of 2013, almost 4.5 years ago. We cannot afford to let the city be in neutral, to be idle. We cannot allow our neighborhoods, our citizens, to remain idle. They are looking for help. We need to look at their strengths, what they have, their resources, and we need to garner that. We need to begin to unite this city, not divide this city. I believe it is undeniable, and I've said this all along, whether I was an educator, a city council person, or now running for mayor. We, as a city, is only as strong as the school district, and the school district is only as strong as our city. We face a litany of issues ranging from crime to blight to development and more. While it would be nice to have a sweeping solution to all of these problems, it does not exist. But we can be proactive to all of our problems if we continue to go forth for the betterment of Allentown. We need to be proactive in facing them, not hiding from them, so they don't begin to propagate more. That's why we need to work hand in hand with our school district. Our children, their growth and education are vital components to dealing with the issues we face day in and day out. While it is true they are separate entities, the school district and city government, City Hall does not have direct control of the school district. We realize that. However, that does not mean that the problems we face are problems we have to solve together. They're shared by us. And we will. When we have a common need, we must have common collaboration. Currently, in the Allentown School District, 17,000 students. 89% of those students come from low-income families. We have a transient rate of 40%. When I was the principal at Trexler Middle School, I would have a student, a child, that would be attending all four middle schools in 1 year. 2 months at Harrison Morton, 3 months at South Mountain, 4 months at Robb, and they finish up at Trexler. That is unacceptable, totally unacceptable. The school board has made strides, and they've been fighting and taking strides to correct some of these issues. But the city government has failed. They have failed. We cannot let this continue. So how do we deal with these issues? School-based community revitalization, look it up. If we ever want to have our families with children and have those children grow educationally, we have to strengthen our city, but we have to strengthen our school district also. We develop areas around the schools. In doing so, we improve the quality of life for the people in those neighborhoods. What this entails is a comprehensive program of community and economic development. We look at the neighborhoods surrounding the schools. We look at what they need. We do a comprehensive assessment. We do a community impact study. We look at the housing. We look at access to health services. We look at public safety. We look at blight. We work with the developers to bring needed upgrades to the neighborhoods. In 1998, this city went forth. Neighborhoods created this city. Neighborhoods, East Side, West End, South Side, Northeast, they created this city. What does it look like? The school district will be opening 2 schools by 2020. As mayor, they'll be opening 1 elementary school at 12th and Gordon, the old Ritter and Smith Lumber Company. They've already purchased that land. Also, they'll be opening a new middle school, site to be determined, but what I'm hearing from good sources, it'll be on the east side, possibly on property that might be state hospital property. Okay? So what we need to do, as a mayor, as your next mayor, hopefully, we need to work with developers to ensure that these schools are going to be built, are developed to be healthy standard of living. What this means is our zoning, our code enforcers, which is a whole other topic. Our zoning office, our code enforcers, totally understaffed. 2 of them have left in the last week and a half. That will be one of my first priorities when I get into, if I become mayor, in my administration, to increase the code enforcers, to increase the zoning, because nothing gets done if there's nobody to move the process forward. We will look at blighted properties in those neighborhoods. We will look at home ownership. We will also look at how many rentals, how many owners. There was a statistic that I heard. 55 people 55 people in a home ownership program with the Community Action Committee of the Lehigh Valley. Of all 55, the question was asked, would you buy a home in Allentown? All 55 to the number said no. Why? Our school system. We have to strengthen our school system. They can't do it alone. We need to do it together. Then we would work in those areas to decrease the blight, encourage home ownership. People do want to own homes. We would look at how these neighborhoods have access to grocery stores, mentoring, health and human services, and we would work with the school district. We would work with the school district to ensure that these needs are met. Working with the school district does not mean for the superintendent and the mayor of Allentown to sit down every 6 weeks and say, oh, what are you doing in education? Oh, you're doing this, that's right, the touchy-feely stuff. What are you doing over here as the mayor? Well, you know we're doing that, that's great. We need to come together. You need to bring the mayorship and the superintendent's office along with city council and the school board together. Together we can solve this problem. I'll give you an example. There's a group in Baltimore called the Enterprise Community Partners. They use school-based community revitalization, and in a study, in 5 years, the first graders, over 5 years, the first graders, the state reading standards went from 19% to 78% in 5 years. That's remarkable. We can do it here. We do not have dumb children. We need to give them the resources. We need to be with them. We need to give the parent the resources. Everyone I met over the years, they want to do the best for the children. They love their children. They don't have the resources. We, city government, school district, forge a bond to give them those necessary resources. I'm not going to say it's going to be an easy process. It will not. It's going to take time, and it's going to take effort. These problems we face are not easy, but we must face them together. We can't turn our back on the school district or focus all our attention on a 5x5 block area. The 5x5 block area is very important. It has revitalized Allentown, but we have to get out of the 5x5 block area. We have to develop the south side, the east side, the northeast. We have to develop those areas also. We need to do a comprehensive reform that focuses on improving all facets of our city. We need to work on public safety. We need to give our children the resources, education, recreation, and a quality of life that encourage success. Too many children have not seen success. If they see success, you grow and you learn from success. And they, in turn, will be successful young citizens in Allentown who will turn into young adults who will want to reside in Allentown for their future. It won't be easy. There's not a magic wand out here. If we had a magic wand, it would be great, but there's none out there. But it does address our issues head on. And as mayor, I promise you, as I stand here today, I don't throw BS around. I stand here today. I will fight for our city. I will fight for our neighborhoods. I will fight for our students. And I will fight for our families to make them better. And in the end, you're making the families and the children better. You make Allentown better. We're only as strong as the school district, and the school district is only as strong as the city. Remember, strong neighborhoods plus strong schools equal a strong city. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. One other thing, I want you to save the date. Saturday, May 6th. We have a big, great event planned. So, keep your Facebook open, all your ears open. I also do want to thank Emily from the Morning Call for covering this, and Bernie O'Hare from Lehigh Valley Ramblers for covering this. We sent something out to FMZ. Obviously, WFMZ was busy. So on the night of May 16th, we all will celebrate a victory, we hope. And I will be talking only to Emily and Bernie, not Channel 69. How's that? I'm open for any questions. I'll be available to the press. I thank you for coming. And I'm honored and humbled because all the way over I thought, oh, there'll be 3 people here. There'll be 4 people here. And I said to my wife, can you get a couple friends? Well, we got a couple friends. Okay? But I'm honored and humbled to be a candidate. Whatever comes out, Ray O'Connell is going to be Ray O'Connell. I want to win. I want to win so bad. I can taste it. But if I don't win, life goes on. Life goes on. You have I have a great wife, Mary Beth. You stand. You're here. She doesn't come. Okay. I don't want her at debates. I don't want her at forums, whatever. But I said, yeah, you can come to this one. I said, because you make me nervous. But whatever happens, life goes on. I've been blessed. 38 years in the Youngstown School District. 8 years on City Council. I've been blessed. I mean, some meetings are tough. We got some tough critics back there, but I care about them. I love them. I don't know if I love them, but I care about them. But what I'm saying is, when we have a City Council meeting, there's 4 or 5 people that show. It's sad. You get involved. I end by saying thank you. I would be honored and humbled if you would vote for Ray O'Connell on May 16th. I'll give it hell. I'll give it all I got. Thank you. Have a good evening.